Yo, what up, guys? It's your boy Pumpkin Pigs back with another video, and let's get right to it. Carlos Ancelotti, he is now officially the Brazil manager. I don't know if I have officially touched on this, but now today I'm going to be giving you my predictions on how will his stint in Brazil be going, because as you know very well, Carlos Ancelotti is the GOAT manager club-wise. I know his stint or the end of his spell in Real Madrid was not the most successful, but he at least statistically he at least is the most decorated manager as far as like big trophies. No one gives a fuck about Copa del Rey or any of that Mickey Mouse trophies. All right, no one gives a fuck about or the FA League or freaking Karabuki Cup. Okay, we're talking about League Cups, Champions Leagues. He has the most Champions Leagues as a manager, and on top of that, he has, I think he's won the league in every single league that he's managed, basically. So, he's the GOAT. But, as we know, in Brazil, this is the first time they have a foreign manager, and on top of that, no manager or no foreign manager has ever won the World Cup. Okay, so that means that with Argentina, for example, they had all three of the World Cups that they won was with the Argentinian manager, French. All three I think all two World Cups that they won: French manager, Brazil manager, Italian manager, etc., etc. What does this mean? So, I think first of all, as far as a philosophy standpoint, Italians are typically defense first, build off defense, and then hit him in the counter. In my opinion, in or at least the way I view Italian football is very tactical and very structured. But Carlos Ancelotti, although he still, if you see his game, he still has that defensive mindset, or at least in the early Madrid days, and even back in Everton, he had that defensive mindset when he would play and then hit him in the counter. I think he exploited that well when he had the BBC, and he had, I believe even in his Bayern Munich days, in his AC Milan days, he was good with that philosophy. I'm talking about mostly Madrid right now. I don't want to talk about my ass with Everton or yeah, I mean, I saw glimpses of them with AC Milan and Napoli and all those teams that he managed. But specifically speaking, when he was at his peak Madrid days, he would make them be compact and then hit them in the counter. The greatest thing about his philosophy is that he would tell players, play like how you want to play. He didn't make things too tactical. And I think that philosophy works well with Madrid. Now, with Brazil. But one of the main reasons why Brazil wanted to get him is because he has a lot of Brazil players. He's been successful with a lot of these Brazil players. And 1 + 1 should equal 2. But as we've seen with Real Madrid and the addition of Mbappe, that's not always the case. Vini is ass in Brazil, okay? This dude freaking he's a farmer. This dude he plays like he's playing for freaking Bolivia, not Brazil. Okay, so Vinicius, and on top of that, you could argue that with Ancelotti during the end of his spell in in Real Madrid, I'm getting these two teams mixed up. A lot of the Brazilian players weren't doing good. He dropped Rodrigo. He wasn't playing Endrick, and on top of that, Militao was hurt. All right, he had sold Casemiro. Casemiro, who is another player that Brazil would depend on a lot, at least when Casemiro was in his prime. He's old and washed, basically. He could barely make it to the Man United starting Excel, and this is a team that's in 16th to 17th place. Like, Brazil as a squad, Carlos Ancelotti, all these players that he would depend on when he was coaching in the club level, they're either washed or they're going through a horrible moment under his spell. So I never understood how the Brazilian media would always be like, yo, Carlos Ancelotti gets the best out of Brazil. I mean, out of Vinicius. No, he doesn't. Vinicius has been ass. And I believe that there was a couple moments where Carlos Ancelotti even said, I think he had personal conversations with Vinicius that he was going to get dropped. So Vinicius this year has been ass. Vinicius has always been ass for Brazil. And on top of that, he's not calling up any of the Madrid players besides Vinicius that he knows. He's not calling up Militao. Militao's still injured, so I'll give him that. He's not calling up Endrick. Endrick has been ass this season. I don't care how anyone says, oh, he's the top goal scorer of Copa del Rey. He's been ass, okay? This dude freaking married a 21-year-old, and he can't carry his weight. All right, maybe the big leagues were just a little bit too soon for him. And on top of that, he's a fucking midget. And then on top of that, Rodrigo, this dude's still freaking playing. He looks like he's playing in freaking Slumdog Billionaire era. Like, this dude is freaking trash. He's playing for he's pretty much all but confirmed that he's going to be leaving Real Madrid and most likely going to Manchester City. So now, who are the players that Carlos Ancelotti has to work with? Because if you look at it, if you look at that squad, if you look at players like freaking Alexandro still getting called up, and I believe even Danilo might have gotten called up. I think I saw that there. I think I saw players from that type of caliber getting called up to a Brazil squad in 2025. Okay? So you look at those those two names. This team is ass. This Brazil team by far has to be the worst Brazil team I've ever seen in my life. You look at that team that lost 7-1 against freaking Germany. They had strikers like Fred who were trash. They had, but besides that, really, every player was mid. No, these players, if you compare them to the average national team, they have a solid squad. But individually, Alexandro, you're still calling up Alexandro when you're a national team that has the richest set of freaking fullbacks, and you're still calling up Alexandro in 2025. I think there's just a couple names that you see in this squad, and you're just like, damn, dude, Brazil are freaking in the dark ages. And now the question is, can Carlos Ancelotti be successful with this era? Because this era's trash. I think that they can. Because I'm going to bring it back a little. You look at that Argentina squad. Yeah, I think every player, Argentina squad, the last players that have won the World Cup. Not every player in there was freaking a world class player. You have Molina. Yeah, he plays in Atletico Madrid, but he's mid. You have players like freaking. You have players that were playing in the MLS, playing in that World Cup Argentina squad. So I think there was even a couple players from freaking that were even playing in the Mexican League. You had players like in the Chile squad. A lot of those players, they called it their golden era. They had one or two very good players. I guess you could say 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 of them were great players. And then you still had some players that were playing in La Liga MX. You still had some players that were playing in the freaking Chilean league or in the domestic league. And these teams weren't. All these players aren't great. What I'm trying to get to is that you don't necessarily need a great squad to win the World Cup. But I do think you need what's the most important is having that one star, and on top of that, having that one star that you can rely on basically, and then on top of that, you have to have a team that's fully together. Rafinha is still going through a Ballon d'Or season. I just don't think, in my opinion, this season for Rafinha is a one-season wonder. Vinicius is trash with Brazil, and I don't think that's ever going to change because this dude is thick in the head. He's so stupid. I don't think Brazil's ever going to get the best out of Vinicius. Rodrigo, this dude doesn't even deserve to be in this team. Okay? He deserves to play in a team in Asia, and I think we all know what that is. So, you look at this squad, and it's a mix of good and bad, but the question is, can the good players, which is I'm specifically speaking about Vinicius and Rafinha, show up when it matters? Because they have Marquinhos. Marquinhos, as I said, he didn't really have a bozo moment in this Champions League, but he will have another bozo moment. That's confirmed. Alisson's getting old. Ederson's old. You have a lot of players that are still aging, and a lot of their really great players, like the most important name, Neymar. I just saw a good compilation video of Neymar. He looks washed, okay? So Carlos Ancelotti said that he was going to depend on Neymar in the next World Cup, or he was hoping that Ancelotti could be there, but he's washed. So basically, what I'm trying to get to is, do I think he's gonna be successful? Carlos, I don't think he's gonna win the World Cup, but I do think that he will be doing better. That's my total viewpoint or stand. He's not winning the World Cup, but Brazil are gonna improve as a squad. Anyways, guys, I just realized my camera video or my battery to my camera is running out, which is why I kind of had to go close this real quick. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe for more Pumpkin Pigs. Out.